boys and girls. It's so nice to see you. I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be our reading lesson for the week. And this week, we are going to go ahead and compare and contrast two characters in a story. And we are going to find their similarities and their differences. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, my friends, I hope that you're doing well. I can't wait to hear from you and see you on Wednesday and Friday. I hope that you're doing well and you're staying safe and you're inside of your house. All right, so we're going to go ahead and compare and contrast character traits, and we're going to go ahead and summarize the story, okay? This week, you will read The Wolf and the Fox independently using technology. You are going to analyze character traits, their motivation and feelings using a compare and contrast graphic organizer on Google Slides. You are going to summarize The Wolf and the Fox using a Google document, paying very close attention to sequential order. This is what your homework looks like for the week. And right now we're just focusing on reading, but I do want to show you what your homework chart looks like. Everything is due this Friday, okay, April 17th, this Friday. On Monday, you are going to do 30 minutes of Amplify reading, 30 minutes of IXL, and 1 hour of Google Classroom. That means 30 minutes of reading on Google Classroom, 30 minutes of math on Google Classroom. And your schedule looks the same for Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'll do 30 minutes of Amplify reading, IXL, 30 minutes of 1 hour, of writing on Google Classroom. And we will have Zoom meetings throughout the day. It will only be 5 meetings per 5 students, per group, and we'll have 5 meetings that day. But I will contact your parents about the Google Classroom, about the Zoom code and everything else. On Thursday, you will have 30 minutes of Amplify reading, 30 minutes of IXL, 1 hour of Google Classroom, and that means 30 minutes of math and 30 minutes of writing. And you have a social emotional activity, which is Go Noodle. And then finally on Friday, you have 30 minutes of Amplify reading, 30 minutes of IXL. You're going to finish all assignments. Like, let's pretend that you've been working so hard on your writing activity, but you decided to move it to the side and you decided to work on your math activity. That's fine. It's just that everything is due on Friday, okay? And on Friday, you'll have 2 tests. You'll have a reading test and you'll have a math test. So let's go ahead and get started. This week, you will read The Wolf and the Fox on your own, and I am going to read The Prince and the 3 Oranges. Now, I'm going to read this story because I'm going to model what you're supposed to do, what it's supposed to look like this week for you, all right? So we're looking at character traits, and what does that really mean? What does that look like? So if you remember when we went over this in class, character traits are what the outside of the character looks like and the feelings of the character inside, what they are feeling. So let's pretend we're reading a story, and we're reading a story about this little girl and this little boy. And this little girl will notice that, oh, she's really pretty, she's short, she has black hair. And then her character inside is that she's brave and she's smart and she's caring. And all these words that we're using, friends, are adjectives, right? They're words that describe nouns, and we've gone over that. And the same thing goes for this boy, right? Let's pretend that, we're looking at this boy. He has blue eyes, brown hair. Let's pretend, because it doesn't say anything about his personality, right? Let's pretend that he's a bully, he's mean, etc. So this week you're going to be doing the same, but with the fox and the wolf. I'm going to model it with the story of The Prince and the 3 Oranges. Now, your second objective, friends, is summary. A summary, remember, it includes the main idea and the most important events in the story. Now, we're going to be reading a fiction text, so it's very important that we pay attention to characters, setting, the problem, and the solution. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to go ahead and read The Prince and the 3 Oranges. There was a prince who wanted to marry the most beautiful woman in the world. He left his castle and traveled far and wide to find his bride. After one long journey, the prince was thirsty. He saw an orange, he saw an orange tree with three large oranges hanging from it. He picked one and cut it open. Suddenly, a beautiful woman popped out. Please give me bread, she said. I do not have any bread, the prince replied. Poof! The woman vanished. The prince cut open a second orange. Again, a beautiful woman popped out. She too asked for bread. She too disappeared when the prince had none. Now I'm going to pause and think. I want you to pause and think. Let's look at the main character. In this instance, the main character is the prince. What are some adjectives that you notice about this prince? Pause and think. Do you have them? Some of the adjectives that I can think about this prince is that he's handsome, he's charming, he's also loving and caring. He's seeking for love, right? He wants to find a bride. Let's continue to read. The prince looked at the third orange. I need some bread, he thought. Just then, a baker passed by with a cart full of bread. The prince bought a loaf. The prince cut open the third orange. He gave some bread to the beautiful woman who appeared. She was even more beautiful than the others. Thank you, sir, said the woman. I am yours forever. Then let us marry, said the prince. He went off to make wedding plans. All the while, the baker's daughter had been hiding in the back of the cart. She too had fallen in love with the prince. I must get rid of this woman and marry the prince myself, she thought. I'm going to pause and think at this time. I noticed that there is a new character, and she's going to be the next main character in this story. What are some adjectives? What are some character traits that you can find, that you've noticed, that you see in the text about the baker's daughter? Pause and think. Do you have them? Well, some of the adjectives that I can think for the baker's daughter is that she's evil, right? She is conniving. Conniving is the fancy word for making an evil plan. And she also has clothes like of a peasant, right? Maybe she is not wealthy like the prince. To the beautiful woman, she said, let me fix your hair before the wedding. The baker's daughter tied the beautiful woman's hair with a black ribbon. She pulled on the knot, and the beautiful woman turned into a dove. The dove flew away, leaving the white dress behind. The baker's daughter put on the white dress and waited for the prince. Upon his return, the prince saw the baker's daughter. Why do you look so different? He asked. He thought she was the princess. The sun has burned my skin, said the baker's daughter. When the dove saw the prince, she flew down and sang a sad song. That dove has a black ribbon tied around its neck. Untie it, the prince commanded. This knot cannot be untied, said the baker's daughter. Let me try, he said. The prince untied the ribbon and poof, the beautiful woman reappeared. The baker's daughter ran off. The prince married a beautiful woman, and they lived happily ever after. Now it's time to meet our objectives, friends. Our objectives are to compare and contrast two characters and to summarize this story. In this instance, this is my story. I'm going to do it, right? But you are going to do the wolf and the fox. So in Google Docs, you will find this document in Google Classroom, and it looks like this. And here we have the differences and the similarities. So some of the differences that I noticed, I'm going to focus on the prince, is that the prince is loving, he's charming, he's hopeful, he's a problem solver. I also added the page number so that I am annotating my information. I'm going back to the text and finding these adjectives. The baker's daughter, she's evil. She looks like a peasant. She's seeking for love and revenge. She's conniving and she's a liar. Okay, what are the similarities in both characters? What's the same about them? Well, both characters in the story seek for love and marriage. Also, both characters were problem solvers. The prince was a problem solver in a good way, and the baker's daughter was a problem solver in an evil way, right? All right, our second objective of the week is summarizing a story, right? So in this case, you will summarize The Wolf and the Fox, and I will summarize The Prince and the Three Oranges. Remember that a summary includes the main idea and includes the three most important events in a story, right? In this case, the most important events in the story in the beginning, middle, and end for me are the prince is thirsty and he looks for oranges. He finally starts cutting some oranges, and he noticed that beautiful women are appearing, and they can be potentially his wife. But unfortunately, he doesn't have what they want, and that is bread. But finally, at the third orange that he finds, he knows that he must get bread before he opens this orange so that he can marry. So he's a problem solver. And then we meet an evil woman who is the baker's daughter, and she tries to trick the prince. But of course, he figures it out, and at the end, he marries his beautiful bride. What is the author trying to teach me in this story? Well, the author is trying to teach me that sometimes, in order to get what we want, there are phases, right? There are steps. And sometimes step 1 and step 2 might not work out for us because, maybe we'll hit a stumbling block. Maybe something difficult will happen. And it is our choice if I'm going to give up or keep going. And then finally, the third time, if I don't give up, I can actually achieve my dreams. And in this case, the prince achieved his dream, and that was to marry his beautiful bride. Now we're going to go ahead and go to Google Classroom. Are you ready? I want you to pay close attention so that you know where to go when it's time to do your work. All right. So we are on Google Classroom. This is my son's Google Classroom page. I added him so that you guys can see what a student page looks like. You're going to go to your Google Classroom. This is our class. We're going to go to classwork, and you'll notice that there are different tabs, right? There is still the Women's History Project. That's still due, friends. I still want you to work on it. That's going to be your side job. Your Google survey check-in, your reading responses, opinion writing, math, and health. Okay, right now we're focusing just on reading. So you'll notice the Fox and the Wolf reading response, the Fox and the Wolf a summary. So here I have the Fox and the Wolf reading response. Before I even get started, friends, remember that you have to read the story before you even do your compare and contrast chart. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and my story will appear. Okay, here is the Wolf and the Fox, and I'm going to go ahead and read the story. Da, 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 da. I'm pretending I'm you. Da, 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 da. I'm reading and I'm finished. Okay, now that I'm finished reading this story, I'm going to go back. I'm done. I can exit, or you can leave it open because you might forget some details. And I'm going to go ahead and click on my compare and contrast chart. Oh, you'll notice it's super tiny, right? I can't type on this, Miss Aldana. What are you making me do? Well, you can go to 100. I'll zoom it in. And then finally, here you have your differences and your similarities. Just what I did with the prince and the three oranges, but you're going to do it with the wolf and the fox. Okay. Here we're going to say, the wolf, I notice that the wolf is, blank. And you're going to give me, he also blank, right? You're going to give me many sentences. The same thing goes for the fox, friends. You're going to give me about 2 to 3 sentences. And then the similarities. What is the same about the fox and the wolf? Okay, the similarities in the wolf and the fox are, and you're going to go ahead and type that up for me. The second objective of the week, friends, is to summarize a story. So once I am done reading the story, doing my compare and contrast, you have a choice. This is only a free choice. I put a YouTube video of the story of the wolf and the fox in case you want to check that out. And we're going to go to the wolf and the fox summary. We're going to go here. I click on it. It's going to pop out for me. And here we are, the wolf and the fox. I'm going to go ahead and type my name, right? My name is Miss Aldana. And once I am done, I am going to go ahead and summarize. Look at the directions. It says the following. It says, please summarize the wolf and the fox. What were the most important events? What lessons do you think the authors are trying to teach you? Remember to use complete sentences. So I would say in the beginning, I learned that, right? And then we're going to go ahead and continue. In the middle, in the end, the authors are trying to teach me blank. Once you are done, friends, with all your assignments, this is what I forgot to say, you must turn it in. Turn it in, okay? So that I can grade it and I can give it to you and I can give you comments. I can do it even if you don't turn it in, but I really need you to turn it in by Friday. All right, my friends, I miss you so much. I hope that I will see you on Wednesday and Friday. Okay, if you would like, you can subscribe to this channel so whenever I upload videos for you, you can watch them as soon as they're uploaded. Okay, love you lots. Bye.